We've got MTGbox.
Mtgbox, let's go. Let's see what you got, man.
Yeah, let's go. You were made for this show.
Hope so.
Oh, we got Red Phoenix.
Hell yeah!
Momo Red Phoenix of all phoenixes. Any description? Doesn't need it.
It's Phoenix. We just run with it. I feel like when I see the finale of Promise, I already feel like this man just was like playing some historic, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not gonna buy a modern land base. Screw you. I'm just gonna." And he did it, you know. So
14 mountains, 4 Ramnap
yes.
runes. We got the Soulscar Mages, Magmatic
Mhm.
Channeler, Runaway Steamkin, Arclight Phoenix. Interesting, no Swift Spear in all of this.
Yes,
Um,
that would right away be my first feedback before we even
oh,
continue.
hold on. This is historic.
Oh, perfect.
We're in historic. All right, so we're not actually in modern. Yeah, we do all formats except Commander and Limited.
I can do limited.
No, but like someone once submitted me a limited deck, and they didn't even show me all the extra playables, just the deck itself, and I'm like, well, there's like I can't do anything with this, man.
It's trash.
Smuggle some good cards into the draft and call it a day. Anyway, okay, so we're
Concede
in
and
historic.
draft again.
We're at Soulscar Mage, Magmatic Channel, Runaway Steamkin, Arclight Phoenix, and an Ox of Igonus. We got the Crash Through, Faithless Looting, Lightning Axe, Pillar of Flame, Shock, Warlords, Fury. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn and draw a card. Finale of Promise, light up the stage. And we got solid mana base, 18 lands. Another Lightning Axe, Magma Spray on the sideboard. Red Cap Melee. 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land.
It's a card.
It's a card. A Braid, Roiling Vortex, and the Acrone War. Gain control of target creature for as long as Acrone War remains on the battlefield. Oh, it's 4 mana, though. Until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. And the third one is each tap creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. That's really clunky and slow.
Yeah, I would cut. Like, the
you?
main point of a Crone War is like if you're a sacrifice deck, and I think if you're not a sacrifice deck, a Crone War, especially if you're running 18 lands, like you're not gonna play a Crone War like at all.
Well, it's actually a little bit more likely than you would think because you do got the Steamkin. Steamkin adds mana. Because I was always wondering how the hell do these mono red decks have so much mana than me? And between Runaway Steamkin and Light Up the Stage, I think they actually reasonably get to 4 mana pretty consistently. Like they can hard cast Arclight Phoenix. They don't have many good. Well, actually, I guess they have good ways now of discarding it. But so I don't think it's unreasonable that they would get to 4 mana.
I like the use of Magmatic Channeler to pitch your Phoenixes. That's really cool to me.
Yeah, that's great synergy.
That's spicy. And I'm thinking like this list versus the red prowess list, right? Like mono red prowess is very similar to this, but it's not running Phoenix. So where's this list's upside, right? And I think your big advantage is definitely that you yes, it is a bird. It is amazing. I'm thinking like because this is in historic, there's always like these random spells that oh yeah, by the way, add Grafdigger's cages to the sideboard. Like, believe me, you want those Grafdigger's cages.
Even with the Arclight in the here?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Like Grafdigger's cage is it's the best sideboard card in historic. Like if I'm not always doing something that like gets hindered by Grafdigger's cage, I still would probably want. You could even like this might actually be interesting. Board in some cards from the mono red prowess deck, like put them in your sideboard, and in a matchup where you want Grafdigger's Cage, take out the Phoenix plan and be mono red prowess. Your deck is very similar to mono red prowess anyway, and I feel like that would be a pretty good surprise, especially if people are maybe boarding sideboard hate in, if they're boarding in graveyard hate against your Phoenix, then suddenly you're like, bam, I'm now a prowess deck that graveyard hate is useless. You're exiling my faithless looting. Whoop-de-doo, I don't care, right? So I feel like...
So what does Grafdigger's Cage hit so hard in Historic that we would want to play it in our own, like, sort of prowess, in our basically our mono red deck that also uses the graveyard?
So obviously Ultimatum is a really big player. So if we're saying you can't Ultimatum, that's pretty good.
Which Ultimatum is it?
Emergent Ultimatum.
Oh my god, so many. Emergent Ultimatum. This is a big archetype right now in Historic.
Yes. Like, it's very similar if you play Standard to the Sultai Ultimatum. In Standard, it's just that to Historic, it has better cards, basically. Exactly, Muxus, Jund Sacrifice. So, like, Jund Sacrifice, it isn't as good anymore because they're not running the Collected Company anymore. The lists of Jund Sacrifice have actually changed massively. They're very grindy now. So I'm not even sure I would bring in Grafdigger's Cage versus Sacrifice. But yeah, Phoenix is huge. Like, if other Phoenix deck, because I feel like if this deck is playing against an Izzet Phoenix deck, if you board to be mono red prowess, you are gonna kill them before they do anything. And I think that's your big edge in that matchup, and that's why I would also want that Grafdigger's Cage in that matchup. But yeah, like
they're mentioning Roiling Vortex also serves that purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Cast a spell with no mana, 5 damage to that player. Also, they can't gain life.
For sure. Like, that also is a thing, but that doesn't work against Phoenix. It doesn't work against Sacrifice with the Cat. That still comes into play.
Right.
I'm not sure if I think Collected Company doesn't cast the cards, right? Because Collected Company is obviously...
it just puts it in play.
Boop. Yeah.
So Grafdigger's Cage prevents that as well.
Vortex is very narrowly for the Ultimatum deck. Obviously, so, like, maybe you would want to cut down like one of them, because yes, it is a very hard out, but if you just put down a Grafdigger's Cage, meaning they can't accelerate into their win condition, and then you just put on the pressure, I feel like that might even be better than a Roiling Vortex, because the Cage just does it for less mana. Of course, Roiling Vortex does give you that consistent damage. But yeah, I really like this list. It's super solid. I think if I were to build
clean,
like, really good ratios, I'd maybe move the Ox to the sideboard. But then again, you lose so little from running in the main board. I mean, it's just one slot, right? And you have so many discard outlets. I think it's fine to have in the main board. This is a really well-built list. The only thing I would really change is, as I said, I would add Grafdigger's Cages to the sideboard, and then have some...
Oh, there's a problem with... Okay, so does Grafdigger's Cage actually prevent anything from Emergent Ultimatum? Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Exile Emergent Ultimatum.
They're being cast from the library, right? They never...
No, they're getting cast from exile.
Oh, okay. I misread that. I'm sorry.
I've made the same mistake myself. It feels like everything is actually being cast from... It feels like everything is getting cast from the library, but really it's actually getting cast from exile. Because I think I once brought in like Grafdigger's Cage versus like a Bring to Light deck, and then like it didn't even matter.
Okay. Then we stall the brakes. We keep that Roiling Vortex, guys. This guy's smarter than I am.
Well, maybe we could still have a Cage for all the other matchups, but Roiling Vortex specifically for the Ultimatum matchup.
Oh yeah, also something I actually forgot to mention that's like really important. Grafdigger's Cage for the Rakdos Arcanist matchup. That deck is huge now that it got Faithless Looting, and Grafdigger's Cage is like so like it destroys that archetype. What are they going to do once you cage them? They're basically just playing Young Pyromancer and make tokens, and you'd really hope that your deck is better than just a deck that's making some Young Pyromancer tokens, right? So yeah, but honestly, I really like this list. There's nothing where I'm like, oh, this really hurts the deck. But yeah, I would just what I'd add is like the option to board out the phoenixes for a more traditional prowess plan. There's a lot of mono red prowess lists to look at. Just take some of the more important cards from those. I would cut the Akroan War. I don't really like it here against.
Yeah, what is it for? Like, I don't even know what matchup it's for.
Like, maybe I'm just forgetting some like big stuff matchup, but honestly, there isn't really a.
Like, I can't tell a matchup where I'd want to take their one big creature, because that seems like the most important mode on this card.
Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna have to. I just don't want to be like talking trash. So I'll just really quickly check the current meta
the historic meta.
Yes.
What's going on? By the way, shout out and thanks to David for saving us there. That's why we got the community to save us here. It's not me for deck list review. It's me and the community. And Litkakashi today.
But do still put in those Grafdigger's cages, regardless of if I was wrong. They're really good. Believe me. Believe. Yeah, no, I don't.
Man loves his Grafdigger's cage.
I do.
Hey, we take out this damn Akroan War for the Grafdigger's cage.
Easy. I mean, yeah, like
this is historic. I mean, I know there's Scourge of the Skyclaves, but no, there's Death Shadow, right?
There is. They brought it in with the historic anthology, but it isn't really like a thing. Like it isn't one of the decks I'm really scared of, honestly.
Right.
Oh, I maybe he's thinking for Orzhov aggro, because they have like a bunch of enchantments stacked on like their one guy, and then you steal that one big guy and they have nothing, and you just can kill them in like 1 or 2 swings. I'm assuming.
Right.
That like that's the only like deck that runs one relevant creature. They always only have like one big thing on the battlefield because they've stacked like their 4 enchantments on it. So yeah, I'd assume it's for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, no, again, this is a really nice deck. So congrats on that.
Agreed. Ja, solid, clean list, solid, clean numbers.
Es war schon sehr geil. Also es war ein richtig geiles Deck. Mir hat sehr viel Spaß gemacht.
Okay.